Hello and welcome to today's episode of Ranked. Today we're counting down my top 10 favorite character designs in Disney animation. The films of Walt Disney Animation Studios are chock full of rich, appealing, and creative character designs. One of my favorite things about watching these movies is admiring the character work. A lot of the choices made by animators are just genius and timeless. We're very fortunate to have been on the receiving end of such compelling work for so many decades. So that's what this video is. It's a fun ranking, but it's also a celebration of Disney animators and their incredible work. Let's get into it. These are merely some of my honorable mentions. My collection of considerations for this list was obscenely long, so I tried not to think too hard and went with my gut. Alright, now let's kick off the main list. These are my top 10 favorite Disney character designs. Easily in the running for the hottest woman in the Disney animated universe. She has such striking features. She gets an A on both her genetics and her fit. Her hair is astonishingly thick. She's got great brows, lovely skin, and girl knows how to accessorize, but keeps it tasteful.
Very mindful.
I remember growing up, my sister had an Esmeralda costume, which was odd because it was made for kids and exposed a fair bit of midriff. It was also a horrible texture. I held back on mentioning her eyes because they are far and away my favorite thing about her. Such a gorgeous shade of green that contrasts well with her purple dress. In Spanish, Esmeralda means emerald, so it's fitting that she's named after her best feature.
Look at that disgusting display. Yes, sir.
My favorite designs do not always overlap with the most iconic, but this is a special case. Captain Hook is legendary Disney villain history. I love how bold and flamboyant his look is. I'm a fan of his little wax twisted mustache. He's like a caricature, yet he's so elegant. I'm not the biggest fan of Captain Hook as a character, or even of the color red, but his design is so good that I've been prone to buying pins featuring him over characters I actually like more. It's the Hook, obviously. The challenge of designing an imaginary creature who could not only strike fear into our hearts, but eventually endear himself to us is gargantuan. Glen Keane is insane for this one. Beast is actually a character who has a few wardrobe changes throughout his movie, and he looks great all the time, but I like him best in his burgundy cape and ripped pants combo. It's said that Beast's look was inspired by the head of a buffalo, a lion's mane, the brow of a gorilla, tusks of a wild boar, legs and tail of a wolf, and the body of a bear. His eyes, however, remained human, which was a lovely humanizing touch from Keane. It's quite hard to choose, but I like his underbite complete with gnarly fangs. I also like how top-heavy he is. The first in Disney's lineage of sexy foxes. Robin Hood's just such a great design. I don't know why they chose to tell their version of the story through anthropomorphic animals, but thank God they did. Disney's version of the character is so impactful that I'd wager that at least 50% of people you ask to picture Robin Hood in their head would picture a fox. He almost has a little Peter Pan thing going on with his fit, but he makes it his own. Would it be weird if I said how long his torso is? If so, then I'll go with his bushy tail. Staying on the theme of animals who have so much riz it's unfair, Dodger has always been the epitome of cool to me. I don't remember how old I was when I first saw Oliver and Company, but I know it was single digits. I'm 30 now, and I still think he's just as cool. No offense to actual Jack Russell Terriers, but you'll never be him. The bandana. A tip for dogs everywhere, a bandana around your neck is like the secret sauce. Special shout out to when Dodger gets himself a pair of sunnies and a sausage link scarf. What to even say about Maleficent? She's perfect. She's described as a malevolent fairy. I'm not familiar with the characteristics of that, but apparently it means you have green skin, horns, and your face card is devastatingly lethal. Maleficent is regally evil. She has as much beauty as she does darkness, and Mark Davis doesn't need me to call him a legend, but it's true. Probably her horns. They're very unique to her in the world of Sleeping Beauty. I love her outfit too though. The way the purple interior of her cape complements her pale green complexion is lovely. It's kinda hard to put a full form to Satan, but Fantasia did. I've come a long way from my hater days of this movie. It's still not my favorite by any stretch, but I have a deep appreciation for it. And even back when I wasn't a fan, I was a fan of this. Chernabog is evil, but he's so cool. Like, if you're telling me this is Satan, I buy it. I think it's so awesome how he starts as part of the mountain. His wings are just huge and immaculate. His scale and size really adds to the viewer's compulsion to revere him. Not to mention he's ripped. And for what? His huge yellow eyes. They are terrifying. Regal and Evil. A lot of the reasons I love Maleficent's design overlap with my love for the Evil Queen. They both have purple and black costumes. There's just something about our Evil Queen. She just has so much going on while maintaining simplicity. Her crown and her massive popped collar allow her to appropriately peacock without doing too much. Her makeup is a nice touch as well. She low-key has drag queen eyebrows. It's her balaclava. In case you don't know what that is, it's like the fitted hood thing she's wearing on her head. I feel like it gives her such an ambiguous power. The fact that we don't get to see all of her is a little scary and intriguing. And it just looks fierce. She's majestic. I feel like I'll get questioned for this, but Lady's actually the one that inspired me to make this list. I don't know if it's even worth trying to explain. I just love her. A Cocker Spaniel could not have been animated more ideally. Something about her design is just indescribably lovely and satisfying. Something clever Disney Animation has often done with their animals is give them eyebrows so they have a much greater ability to emote. And Lady also has beautiful prominent eyes and ears. Her license that she's ever so proud of complements her features perfectly as well. I just don't think a dog could look any more lady than Lady. I think it's her little tail. I love her paws too, but her tail? I don't often claim that my personal favorite is the best. In fact, I often preach the opposite. Favorite is not synonymous with best. We're all entitled to our own unique tastes that don't need to adhere to some sort of criteria. But sometimes the stars align, and the product of that is Scar. His orangey coat and black mane are striking, especially in contrast with his righteous brother Mufasa, who symbolically has lighter coloring. His glowing green and yellow eyes are evil and exciting. His face is narrow and he has a lithe build. This supports the idea that Scar himself promotes while comparing himself to his brother when he claims,
As far as brains go, I got the lion's share, but when it comes to brute strength, I'm afraid I'm at the shallow end of the gene pool.
I just appreciate that Scar is kind of scrawny. He hasn't much to offer in the way of a physically menacing presence. It's his mind that makes him dangerous. And not to be too on the nose, but he just looks like the bad brother. He looks amazing. I love him, and I have absolutely no notes. Girl, it's his Scar, of course. What else was it gonna be? It's his namesake, and it makes him look cool as hell. And that's the list. Thank you so much for joining me on this ranking of my top 10 favorite Disney character designs. I'd love to know if you guys agree with any of my picks. Let me know in the comments down below. I'd also love to see your own list if you want to share them. Animation is just so great. I'll admit I heavily favor traditional hand-drawn designs, but there have been some good computer animated ones. I personally don't think the medium holds a flame on the whole, and I would love to see traditional animation return to Disney, but that is highly unlikely. Jennifer Lee did once say she wanted to do that, but she just recently stepped down, so we can dream, right? If you enjoyed this video, consider hitting like and subscribe, and head over to the Trove for more rankings, video essays, trivia videos, reviews, and more. Thanks again for hanging out, and I'll see you next time.